Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. What we have for today is another Ford F-150 and for an interior detail. And I would say that the condition of this one is probably equally as bad as the other one. So if you enjoyed that video, you're probably going to enjoy this one. We've got a lot of work to do, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so jumping right into it, and like I always tell you guys, whenever you're working on a car or detailing it, if it's obvious that the vehicle hasn't been cleaned for a while, like a few years, I personally like to go ahead and pull these seats out just because of how much stuff can get lodged in there. And with the carpets in this condition, it's obvious that we're gonna have to go in there with an extractor and shampoo underneath all that stuff. Now, that's not to say you don't ever run into issues. With this truck personally, some of the seat bolts were rusted into it. I managed to be able to pull out the passenger seat and the center console. Unfortunately, the driver's seat, the bolts were so rusted I couldn't get them out. But luckily, it ended up not being a huge issue because with that center console out, I was still able to kind of get in there and get most of that stuff cleaned up. But once the seats are out, we went ahead and we're going to get started vacuuming, getting these carpets as clean as we possibly can. That way we can go ahead and start shampooing them. Alright, so now comes the fun part. We're going to start shampooing these carpets and getting these nasty stains removed. A lot of you guys usually ask in my videos, what do I use for my carpet solution? What I like to use personally, and I found to be kind of a good combo, is I'll use Chemical Guys carpet shampoo, but then I'll also add a little bit of Super Clean degreaser into my pump sprayer also. And that usually cuts through stains pretty quickly. And one thing that I do want to go ahead and put out there is just because I mentioned that I use a certain product, that doesn't mean that you have to use that product to get good results. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of detailing channels, they say that you have to use, like, they really push these products that they use, and that's mainly just so that they can get a little bit of money here and there from the affiliate links when you buy from their link in their description. But I've always advocated that if you can find good deals, good sales, package deals and stuff like that, then that's probably your best bet. There's so many good detailing products out there from different companies across the board, so if you're loyal to a certain company, you're really missing out on good potential supplies and products from other companies. The top ones to list are obviously, you have Adams, McGuire's, Chemical Guys, Aerospace 303, and there's a ton of other good ones. So if you buy from a reputable company, you really can't go wrong with much of any products. So this was probably the worst area in the entire truck when it came to the carpets, and I probably honestly spent a little bit too much time. I made like a ton of passes on this, trying to get that stain in the top right corner out. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it out all the way. It did make a pretty nice improvement on it, but definitely not perfect. And if you're kind of just now getting into the detailing scene and you're wondering how you'll know if a stain is not going to come out all the way, you'll see that once I start making my later passes, even though I'm going over the stain, the water's coming up clear. And that's kind of a good indicator the stain's not going to come out. When you get to a situation like that, really the only thing you can do is either, get carpet dye to dye the carpets and kind of cover that stain up, or to replace the whole carpet in the vehicle. And if you are that person who's trying to get into detailing, whether it's for your own vehicle or you're starting to, wanting to start a business, it can be somewhat intimidating. It was for me. I was intimidated kind of just working on my own stuff, let alone working on other people's vehicles also. But just keep in mind that anybody you watch on YouTube or anybody who's good at detailing, they were never, they didn't start out that way. It takes time perfecting the craft and stuff like that, learning tips and tricks along the way, and you're kind of in the right spot by watching these videos. That's kind of where I learned how to get into it too. And I definitely don't consider myself to be like a top tier detailer. I'm more like a weekend warrior who kind of does this as a side hustle. But one thing that kind of got me into it is I love working on different types of vehicles. I guess that kind of leads into the question of the week, and that's going to be, what kind of vehicle do you drive? So let me know down in the comment section below. And after the seats are shampooed, I'll go ahead and start throwing the floor mats and the seats back in. And these seats were awful. Off camera, I probably spent a solid at least an hour and a half, 2 hours getting these seats clean, because every time they dry, the stains would end up coming back through. The passenger seat in specific was really bad. It looks like someone might have spilled something on there, because you can see in the shots before that something brown or orange was coming through the extractor. But we were able to get a pretty good result on the seats, and once we have them back installed, we'll go ahead and start doing everything else we need to do, such as cleaning off the door jambs, getting the door panels, the dash, all the plastics cleaned up and UV protected. And then the finishing touches for this detail is going to be to get the glass all cleaned up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to support the channel, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and if you love detailing, you're not going to want to miss them. Be sure to stick around just a little bit longer in this video to see the before and after shots.